As long as you have passion, faith, and are willing to work hard, you can do anything you want in this life. By understanding our inner potential, let us proceed with our life on this earth, having a meaningful purpose in our heart and make the world a better place. Good morning, everyone. I, Mrs. Hemlata Rajshekar, the host for today's function, welcome you all for online endowment lecture in memory of our beloved founder, Sri Neville Omi Irani sir. We will begin our school program with school prayer by Reva Shah, a newly elected head girl of the school. This prayer represents Tagore's vision of a new and awakened India. This will be followed by a school song by Cambridgian Purvi Konor.
Where the mind is, without fear, and the head high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of the truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert stand of the habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-winding thought and action. Into that heaven of freedom, my father led my country awake.
Hey, 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 la, 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 yay. Forest no mountain too high, forest no river too wide, forest no road too rough, forest no talents too tough, forest no mountain too high, forest no river too wide, forest no road too rough, forest no challenge too tough. We will cherish what we learn, we will achieve what we earn. We will cherish what we learn, we will achieve what we earn. We will always do our best, we will be better than the rest. We will always do our best, we will be better than the rest. We can, yes we can, we can, yes we can. We promise to make the world a better place, uphold the truth, be kind and helpful always. Make our school and parents proud, stand out from the crowd, choose right over wrong, make our nation strong, choose right over wrong, make our nation strong. We can, yes we can, we can, yes we can. Each one a champion, the Cambridgian. We can, yes we can, we can, yes we can. Each one a champion, the Cambridgian, the Cambridgian, the Cambridgian.
I request our beloved principal, Mrs. Nita Purohit ma'am, to welcome the August gathering.
Good morning, Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Alok Khanate, members of the School Managing Committee, esteemed Rotarians, my dear colleagues, enthusiastic and eager students. On behalf of all Cambridgians, it is my great pleasure and honor to extend a warm welcome to you all to this endowment lecture in memory of our esteemed founder, Mr. Neville Irani sir. This is the second endowment lecture in its unique and different way, that is online. This is the second online lecture. The entire world is facing a completely unprecedented crisis due to the spread of coronavirus. Social distancing, one of the key components in the fight with this virus, is creating a challenging situation for our social institution. School, as prominent social institutions, are not going to remain unaffected by it. Hence, this online enrollment lecture in collaboration with Rotary Club Gulbarga North. Sri Neville Irani sir was a gate material, dynamic and passionate educationist. His dream, the Cambridge School, is scaling new heights and establishing new benchmarks in quality education. With every passing year, the aim of the school is to ensure the smooth transaction of the education within a safe, secure, sound, and sanctioning environment. A true Rotarian and a great philanthropist is a guiding spirit for us to move forward towards excellence. We are indeed fortunate to have with us today a great orator, Dr. Amol Dhanate, as chief guest. In today's scenario, we could not have found a speaker better than Professor of Department of Psychiatry, who can give us valuable address on how to navigate through this pandemic situation. We would like to extend a hearty welcome to the chief guest of today's function. Welcome to our school, sir. We are sure that today your rich experiences will enlighten and guide our students. We offer a warm welcome to all members of the School Management Committee and Dynamic Director Naujat Neville Irani sir. It's our great pleasure to welcome Rotarian Sri Ramakrishna Parulkar, President, and Rotarian Dr. Baburayan Sherikar, Secretary, and the other members of Rotary Club Gulbarga North. We also welcome each and everyone who is connected with us today. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all my colleagues who were always more than ready to lend their support in making this event a success. A special and warm welcome to our ex-Cambridgians. Today is a memorable day in their life, as they will be appreciated by their achievements in academics in Class 10 Board Exam 2021. Last but not least, I welcome all our students who are eagerly waiting to hear our chief guest. We welcome everyone who contributed in some or other way towards this event. It wouldn't have been possible without the support of you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. I request our director, Mr. Naujat Neville Irani sir, to play to the faith floral tribute to our founder, Sri Neville Omi Irani sir. I request the other dignitaries to join, sir. Yesterday was a dream, tomorrow is a vision, but a day well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness. I, a proud Cambridgian, would like to invite Mrs. Pramodini ma'am to enlighten us about a great personality, Sri Neville Omi Irani sir, who believed in making dreams come true.
Good morning, everyone. I, Pramodini, presenting you the biosketch of Sri Neville Irani sir. Sri Neville Irani, a man par excellence, a visionary, educationist, engineer, social worker, philanthropist, dedicated Rotarian, whose motto was service above self. and who always believed in and practiced the tenets of his religion, and which all religions also preach, of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Neville Shaw was someone for whom destiny wasn't written. He penned it down himself. His unbound initiative, social service, unassuming generosity, and philanthropic contribution to individuals and organizations like Rotary International have led up 1,000 lives. A great man of extraordinary integrity and enthusiasm, whose name will never be forgotten. He was a leader who succeeded in every endeavor. He not only dreamt, but also created and achieved what he dreamt through his hard work. Today, Neville Shaw is not with us physically, but he lives in our hearts and in each and every brick of our institution. He is our life, our beacon that will always be there to guide us and show us the right path. Sir, we all Cambridgians love you and miss you and will leave no stone unturned in our path as we march forward to make your vision and dream of Cambridge a reality. Almighty, rest your soul in eternal peace. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am. Every thought you produce, anything you say, any action you do, it bears your signature. I call upon Mrs. Vinamrata Kulkarni ma'am to introduce us today's chief guest, Dr. Alok Ganate.
Time perspective is one of the most powerful influences on all of human behavior. Our mental and social well-being is exclusively on past or present orientation. These are the words of Philip Zimbardo, an American psychiatrist. Good morning, everyone. I, Vinamrata Kulkarni, would like to introduce you all to today's eminent personality, Dr. Alok N. Ganate, Professor and HOD, Department of Psychiatry, Mahadevappa Rampuri Medical College, Gulbarga. Sir holds MD degree in psychiatry from Padma Shri Dr. D.Y. Patil Medical College and University, Navi Mumbai. MBBS from MRIC. Pre-degree education from MV institutions. Sir has served medical field of psychology in many capacities, starting from junior resident in officer in D.Y. Patil Medical College to become HOD of Psychiatry Department in MRMC. Sir has done lots of research work and presented 5 research papers in international journals and 2 in national journal, and also 4 case reports in Journal of Psychiatry. His contributions are thesis on a study of a psychiatry comorbidity and psychosocial factors in the suicide effects, lectures on religion and psychiatry, a presentation on a case study report on serotonin syndrome in ANCIPS at Lucknow, symposiums on internet addiction, and award-winning paper presentation on a study of prevalence of internet addiction in medical students and its association with depression and anxiety. And list goes on. An intelligible orator, Sir has conducted many workshops, symposiums, and also gave a talk on childhood psychiatric disorder on All India Radio. Today, Sir is here to speak on such a topic which is the need of the hour. And the topic is mental health issues during COVID-19 pandemic amongst students. On behalf of all Cambridgians, I extend a warm and hearty welcome to Shri Dr. Alok Ganate. I request Dr. Alok Ganate ji to share his vast experience and enlighten the student with today's topic. Welcome, sir, Sri Alok Khanate ji. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. It may not be difficult to store up in the mind a vast quantity of facts within a comparatively short time, but the ability to form judgment requires the severe discipline of hard work and tempering heat of experience and maturity. I humbly request our renowned chief guest, Dr. Alok Ganate, sir, to motivate and inspire the gathering with his knowledgeable and valuable words on the topic mental health issues during COVID-19 pandemic among students.
I think the slides are being visible. Good morning, all. It's my privilege. Am I audible to you all now? Can someone raise their hand so that I can understand what's going on? Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot. First of all, I would like to thank the management of the CMS School for inviting me to talk on the topic of mental health issues during the COVID pandemic. I request not to struggle on the screen so that it will be clearly visible. I myself, Dr. Alok Ganate, I am a superintendent in the Department of Psychiatry, Medical College. I also consult at our hospital, opposite St. Mary's School. So today, let us talk about mental health issues during the COVID-19 pandemic, which are commonly seen in nowadays routine health. I think it's nice. Maybe very probably. Something. It's cancel my it's not moving. Slides are not moving. Yeah. Even we need to be well versed with this digital platform. There may be some technical glitches. Try to bear with us. So today's talk will be on introduction of mental health issues in the children and students, impact of on the students about the mental health, parenting during the pandemic. What does the recent literature tell us about this? What we need to do to tackle with the mental health issues. The role of teachers and school counselors, in short. Then let us talk about digital detox. So these are the headings which we will be covering in today's talk. The main objective of the talk is let us understand what are the mental health issues we are dealing with in this pandemic and how we need to deal with it to overcome it. So what do you mean by mentally healthy? In the childhood period, there are a lot of milestones in terms of developmental milestones and emotional milestones we need to achieve. And these children usually learn the healthy social skills, which usually we use it during day-to-day life, and we usually cope with the normal problems of the life. We are not talking about the pandemic situation like COVID, but yes, normal stressful situations like examinations or falling sick or some adversity happening at home. We need to cope with it. So a mentally healthy children reaches developmental and emotional milestones and learn coping skills with healthy social skills. So to them, we call them to be a mentally healthy person. So whom you call to have psychiatric disorders or mental disorders? serious change in the way the child behaves or learns or handles the emotions or behave in a different way. Look, the behavior can be in terms of disruptive behavior like throwing objects, arguing with the parents, fighting with the siblings, or anything. Most importantly, it should cause distress. Means the problem should occur either to the parents or the caretaker, or even the child himself says that I do feel there is a problem with me. Like the child may say that I'm having breathing difficulties, I'm having weight pains, I'm having difficulties in concentrating and reading, or I feel very anxious and restless when the exams have been declared. So the child here do say that the distress is happening to me. That means there is a lot of anxiety issues which is going on with the children. One. Or the distress can happen to the parents or the caretaker, where the parents do say that the child is behaving something erratically, the students are behaving something differently, he is becoming very aggressive, he is becoming very withdrawn, not interacting much, not going out as he used to go usually. Then the parents do get the children to the psychiatrist or mental health professional for a consultation. Either of these two can happen. The most important defining point to call the person to have a mental disorder is any behavior or a thought process causing significant distress to self or the surrounding. Now let us understand what are the statistics and epidemiological data say. There are more than 2.2 billion children in the worldwide, which constitute around 28% of world's population. The UNESCO told around 10 to 19 years make up almost 16% of world's population. In India, the children are 40% of our total population. If you consider 128 to 130 crore population of India, 48 crore population are belonging to children. It's a huge number. We need to take care of them. What's happening to the mental health of child and adolescents? Under regular circumstances, around 15 to 20% of children below 18 years of age do have one or the other psychiatric disease. Measurable psychiatric symptoms of depression, anxiety, or any other symptomatologies are seen. Only about 50% of them are referred or being seen by a mental health care professional. So there is a huge gap. The prevalence in India has been reported by recent surveys around 7%. That amounts to 3 crores of children being affected with psychiatric illness. This pandemic has impacted a lot. It is been predicted by recent studies that 25 to 30% of these disorders are increased among children. That means if you consider 3 crores, it is almost 3 times of that population is getting affected because of this psychiatric illness. Let us understand what is the developmental task which the adolescents and the students of your age deal with. They usually try to adjust to the maturing bodies and their feelings. They start developing the abstract thinking. They understand the core concepts of what is being taught to them and what is happening in their life. Their more complex perspective talking do start developing in them. They start developing new coping skills. Usually in this age group, they learn new things, how to cope with the day-to-day stress, sense of purpose, autonomy, and agency to develop. Like schools and parents and elders, from them, they learn moral values, standards, beliefs, which they inculcate throughout the life. They try to understand and express more complex emotional experiences. They understand how the friendship works, how supportive they are. They develop their identity in a different perspective. They take on increasingly mature roles and responsibilities. Renegotiating relationship with adults is also seen in these adolescent population. So usually during this period of life, they have these all developing things in them. Let us understand what are the protective factors for the mental health and what are the risk factors of mental health. The protective factors are supportive environment, like parents who are very supportive, teachers, caregivers who are very supportive in that case, stable relationship with the family and friends. They feel connected to the friends, family, teacher, good self-esteem, stable socioeconomic status, warm parenting, good peer support. The peers means the classmates and the friends. If their support is also good, they are all protective factors, along with physical health. Good physical health, you also have a protective factor. What are the risk factors which really affect the mental health of an individual? Broken family or disturbed family at home, environmental adversities like recent calamity like COVID-19 pandemic, or some floods, or some earthquake, or some kind of a disruption in the environment, or meeting with an accident or something like that. So they do affect the mental health. Any mental illness the child has, some abuse to the children or a domestic violence at home, substance use. If the risk factors outweigh the protective factors, mental disorders or psychiatric disorders are commonly seen in these individuals. Let's understand how is this COVID impacting the mental health of the student. The things which are seen in the children's recently due to this pandemic, they are found to have irritable, anxious, sad, withdrawn. Some of the children are born to throw temper tantrums. They become very clinging or sometimes very adamant on certain things which they want. Few children do complain about somatic complaints, like the child did say that headache, back pain, abdominal pain, or such complaints are commonly reported by the children. Regressive behavior, around 14-15-year-old child, they start behaving very immaturely or childishly with clinging kind of things to the parents, and sometimes they do want to have bedwetting at the night. Attention seeking is also seen. They do appear to have trying to grab the attentions and parents or family members. Withdrawn behavior can be seen in some students, where the students try to remain isolated, not interact much with the family members, friends, even teachers. Nightmares can be seen, decreased sleep or increased sleep can be seen. Sibling rivalry is one of the things which is commonly seen in some of the children. Sibling rivalry means children fight with their own siblings, like brother, sister. They try to involve in a lot of abuses and physical fights also. Clinging behavior towards the parents and caretaker is also seen. They try to cling to the parents and say that I really don't want to go out of the home, I want you to be there, and it is difficult for me to go out. One more thing which is commonly seen during this pandemic in children is there is a lot of fear of losing their loved ones, like parents or friends. Because of this pandemic, they feel that the world is going to end. There is no one who is going to take care of me. So this is one complaint few children do put. Home confinement of children and adolescents found to be associated with uncertainty and anxiety, which attributed to the disruption of education, physical activity, and opportunity to socialize. This one thing which is coming up during COVID times, we need to know about it. The absence of structured setting of the school for a long duration results in disruption of routines, and few children do complain about boredom and lack of innovative ideas. because you are not interacting one-to-one with the children. Now I'm taking a class to you on an online thing, but I don't know how many of you are listening, how many of you are muted, or how many of you are moving around. So the one-to-one interaction is missing, which leads to feeling bored, and the innovative ideas of the students and extracurricular activities are missing. Some children do express lower level of affect as they are being told not to go out and play, not to meet the friends, not engage in in-person school activities. These all are pro-social behaviors, which usually, as a psychiatrist, we always tell the parents and the children to engage with. Because of the COVID pandemic, we are avoiding this. And low level of affect means feeling sad, low, these things are seen. The older adolescents around 10th and 9th and 8th, or even college students, they are very concerned and anxious about the examination schedules. Sometimes one fine day in the morning, you hear news that 10th exams are cancelled. Suddenly next day you find the news that someone is telling the 10th exams are getting conducted. So there is a lot of uncertainty about the schools, academic events, programs and examination, which creates a lot of anxiety among the students. Panic buying is one thing which is commonly seen during this pandemic, where many of the people, even the adults and adolescents, even children, they try to purchase certain things and hoard them, thinking that they may need it in future. This is one of the killer which is going on right now, the internet and the social media. Prolonged confinement and the at home, children increased their use of internet and social media, which is making them predisposed to the compulsive use of internet. Even though at that time, they don't want the phone to be used because the family is all around and you people are not seeing anyone around there. But at few students do use that, which leads to access of objectionable content and also increase their vulnerability for getting bullied and abused, something called as cyberbullying and cyber abuse, which is commonly seen in the internet. Now, the parents are not spared. They don't know how to deal with the pandemic, which they are facing now. Some of the parents do report that we need help. Some of the statements of the parents are, I get worried about how to keep her entertained and not rely on social media for entertainment. They don't know what are the other means of keeping my child or student engaged. The only media which finds them engaged and entertained is the social media like TV, music, or internet, or games, or something like that. One of the few parents told that he plays a lot of video games and claimed the games make him happy. Just being online on the schools, games, TV, eating, etc., makes him feel better. But is this a right thing to do? They are confused. Few parents do say that I worry. The children are feeling unenthusiastic about everything except food and video game. I told him to get half an hour of sun. One of the child told that it's scary outside, I can't go there. So the child are learning a different ways of coping and the parents are feeling very helpless how to make them comfortable. We need to understand that parents are also under tremendous stress. This pandemic has caused a lot of panic, uncertainty, and chaos among adults. The normal reactions to an abnormal situation is completely different because we have not seen such a situation in our lifetime. So the normal reaction, is it normal to react in this way or something different? We don't know. There are a lot of maladaptive coping behaviors which have been reported in the parents during this extreme stress, like getting irritable, shouting at the children or the staff of their home, or even indulging in arguments and fights with in-laws and husband or wife. Substance use is found to increase in the parents altered daily routines of the parents are seen, fighting violence against children, their problems at home or the workplace, they bring out and displays their anger towards the children. Few parents do that. Domestic violence are also seen, and so forth. When the parents are not spared, the children obviously get affected. Some recent literature, I was just surfing around what are the things we have found recently during this pandemic. There was a study conducted in US where the questionnaires were being asked to the students. The first question what they asked was, which of the following can make you more anxious or depressed during this pandemic? The teens responded, most of the teens responded that schoolwork. They don't know how to complete the assignment at home and how to finish it off in time because online one-to-one interaction is almost missing. So the school works make them more anxious, most of the students reported. The few students, around 65%, is told that thinking about my future, is this year going to be considered as null year? Are the exams going to affect my future? How good I can score? How best I can be? And what I will be in future? That is very uncertain. So thinking about future is also making them really anxious. Pressure from the family, social isolation, concern about world, social interactions which are missing, using of social media, financial stress. So these all things made the students more anxious. Then a question related to the stressors which made them anxious were asked. Most of the time told that inability to hang out with the family or friends or in person hanging out with them made them feel very depressed or anxious. Conducting school classes online made them anxious. Being stuck at home with the family made them anxious. Few of them were told that I don't want to stay at home. School is a better place because they interact with the friends, family, and the teachers, which made them much more relieved and less anxious. Worrying about me and my family getting sick, these people to say that made them anxious. Cancellation of extracurricular activities like summer classes or some extracurricular activities at school, even they made them more anxious. Loss of normalcy and routine made them difficult to cope. Inability to go out, worries about running out of basic necessities. So these are things which made them much more stressed. 7 in 10 teens experience struggle with the mental health. More than half of the students, they reported that they feel very anxious. The anxiety means feeling restless, keyed up, decreased sleep, breathlessness, heart pounding. These all things are commonly seen in some of the children. Depressive symptoms like withdrawal, not interacting, crying spells, getting clingy. At times, they reported suicidal ideations. They felt that nothing in this world is going to change. It is better to die rather than suffer. Few children do found to have developed addiction. The addiction is not related to only substances like alcohol, tobacco, or something like that. The addiction is commonly seen with the gadgets nowadays. Internet addiction, gaming addiction, surfing addictions. These all things are commonly seen in some of the children. Let us understand how the children or the students cope with this calamity. So here in the darker one, the darker parts, black one, are the unhealthy coping mechanisms used by the children, which need not be used. The green one, the lighter one, are the healthy coping mechanisms, which most of the children should use it. Let us understand what are the unhealthy coping mechanisms. That means how they dealt or handled the stress of the COVID. The first one is ignore my feelings and act like nothing is normal. This is something called as denial. Kuch hua hi nahi, so nothing is happened, everything is fine. Most of the children did say that. Spending more time alone is one of the ways they try to cope with the calamity. Spending more time bringing the content about the COVID and other stuff. Sleeping or spending time in bed. Even though they are not sleeping, they are spending more time in bed. Spending more time on social media like internet or games or chatting or some excessive unwanted information seen on social media. Eating more food or less food. Shopping online or in person is one of the maladaptive coping skills. Involving in some addiction like drinking coffee, caffeine, drugs, or something like that. These are some of the unhealthy coping mechanisms which are being used by the students. Few students did use healthy coping mechanisms, which I want our students to use. They are do something creative or build an hobby. We usually advise the students, do something creative. What is there in you, try to do that. And build an hobby. We tell that try to learn some instrument, try to do some dancing, or learn some art and craft things. So these all things, few of the students used and felt better. And this is one of the healthy coping ways. Talking to someone like near and dear one, like family members, teachers, even the friends, they felt better. Exercising more and spending more time outside. Difficult in the COVID times, but try to spend and maintain the social distancing when you are outside. But exercise always make them much more de-stressed. Reading and learning more about what makes them really stressed up and upset is one of the best way to cope. Meditating and practicing some form of mindfulness also help. Few of the students, they reported they spoke with a therapist or the mental health care professional, really helped them to feel better. So this slide is very important. How the children cope in an unhealthy way and how the children should cope in a healthy way. There is nothing wrong or something which is completely bad in this pandemic. We need to understand that the study which was conducted in US did say that around 70% told that they considered themselves to be resilient. The resilient means they fought out of the calamity very well. And few of them told that I am confident of solving my own mental health struggle. I am confident in my ability to cope in a healthy way. So almost 2/3 of the population, they fought out well. What contributes to the team's positive mood? Chatting with friends, being with the family, scrolling through the social media, being outside or exercising, and most of the children do say that gaming helped them. What contributed to the negative mood? Online schooling, bullying, and being some students do say that being the family made them very irritable because of the interaction which was missing in the family in a healthy way. Social media and gaming, main way to meet the social needs. Here, I want you to give importance to the chart which has been mentioned. The team multitasking during the online learning, which is main commonly seen. Even I do feel that out of the students, 300, 400 which are attending, few of you are doing multitasking, like checking the Instagram or WhatsApp or texting or doing some other classwork or using TikTok or surfing online. Few of the children do report that they play games or shop online while they are on class. Online class are going on. So team multitasking is also one of the things which is commonly seen in the students. So which we need to address. Amount of physical activity which was reported to be very less in the students, that is almost 65% told that little to none physical activity they did during the COVID pandemic. Moderate around 28%, very low rigorous. The majority of students reported they had a poor sleep pattern. Among them who had poor sleep pattern, they were the people who used to sleep with phone in their room. I advise you all not to keep any mobile phones or gadgets like that in the room. Try to switch it off, keep it aside. Night, no one will disturb you. So this is going to hamper your sleep pattern and affect the mental health on a long term. Social media impaired my ability to sleep. It is disturbing. The children's brain are not well versed to take the critics, which are bullies, which are being there on the social media. So please be careful when you are in social media. I go to sleep less than pre-COVID. So few people do told that because of disruption of the routines, the children are sleeping late night, around 1 o'clock, maybe 12, maybe 2, maybe 4, and getting up very late. Or even they have to get up, they are not active during the online classes. Stay on phone 1 hour plus more than the bedtime. This is commonly reported by few of the students. You need to recognize dangers of overuse. You need to understand the addiction to technology and apps which are commonly seen nowadays. The most common things what the patients, the students do say that if they are addicted, they do say that I could quit, but I don't want to. That is denial in them. They rationalize sometimes by saying that I know it's bad, but everybody is doing it. So what's wrong with it? My parents do it, my friends do it, my teachers do it. What's wrong with it? So they rationalize it. So you need to know the danger of overuse. We will talk a bit about digital detox, which will help us in preventing getting addicted to the images. What to do? How we need to look into this? Support the students, acknowledge what has been taken away. Don't blame the teams for their maladaptive coping skills. Please do not scrabble. Please stop ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಆ ಕಡೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಈ ಕಡೆ annotate ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Please security. Annotate. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Clear and part. Clear. It's okay. But okay, let us continue so that it will disrupt the class. Okay. Supporting students that acknowledge what has been taken away. The children have the non-adaptive coping skills, but we need to tell the parents and the caretaker and teachers, don't blame the teens. Try to know the signs of depression and anxiety, especially you yourself, students, you need to understand what are the signs. Click matter. Is it click matter? Screen and click matter. So what we need to look as a signs or the warning signs of mental health issues. If the student appears very sad and withdrawn more than 2 weeks, you need to consider meeting a consultant. Intense worries and fears that get in the way of daily activities. Daily activities are getting affected. At that time, we need to meet the consultant and take help of your parents and teachers and try to meet them. Severe mood swings, which is causing problems in the relationship. Mood swings can be in terms of feeling sad, feeling irritable, getting involved in fights and arguments with the parents and siblings and friends and teachers. Drastic change in the behavior of a personality of an individual. Sometimes the parents do say that my child was not like this. He is behaving completely differently. He is withdrawn, his personality appears to be disturbed. These are the warning signs. Severe, uncontrolled, out of control behavior like throwing objects, throwing remote, breaking remotes, or not accepting, not obeying the commands of the family members. Repeated use of some of the substances. To add to drugs and alcohol, one more thing is gadgets. repeated use of gadgets like mobile phone or tabs. Even after explaining that, don't use it, don't use it, try to limit the use. They are not listening. So the games like online games like PUBG or something like Free Fire, so these all things are affecting the mental health of the individual. Try to look out of these signs, warning signs among the children. How we need to deal with it? Basic, stick to your routine. Make a schedule and a timetable, engage them into the timetable. Structuring the day gives a sense of control over one's own life. This is very important. You structure your life. There is no one else who can structure your life. Morning, this time I will get up, this much time I will read, this much time I will go to play, this much time I will sleep, this much time is meant for some family time, or etc. etc. So try to structure your day-to-day activity. Stick to the routine, which helps you to keep mentally active. Second, involve them in the daily household activities. I urge students to involve yourself in daily activities in the along with the parents, like cleaning, washing clothes, drying clothes, cooking, rearranging the furniture, or other household activities of your interest. Family relaxing activities is very important, like doing yoga, exercise, meditation, prayers, going for a cycling, for a walk, for a jog. Try to involve in indoor games. Like I urge parents and the teachers and mainly the students along with the parents, if they stay, try to play indoor games like some puzzle games, some board games, some football or volleyball in the indoor setting. Preschool children, some informal education should be thought of, like drawing, holding the pencil or something like that. Family leisure time is must. This is very important. Try to be truthful to your child. Okay, the child has the right to know the information about coronavirus pandemic, and there is a responsibility of adults. Try to keep them safe and age-appropriate language to be used to reveal the content of the coronavirus. Try to tell the child this is the calamity and these are the things which are happening. Try to observe the child's reaction. If the child is very anxious, very stressed, wean off. Be sensitive towards their level of anxiety. We all should know that we are not knowing everything about this pandemic. Being a doctor, even I'm not aware about how the things will be in future. It's okay to say that I don't know. I will get back to you later what is going to happen or what is going to be done. And till now, try to stay in the present situation and do what is being required. The digital detox need to understand very significantly unwanted sensational exposure of children to social media or mainstream media on COVID-19. We need to be careful. Don't expose our child to this kind of media news which show repeatedly so many deaths have occurred, so many things are going on, this is going to come, like third wave, fourth wave. आ सकता है, but don't panic. Try to not to create panic in children. Like children are going to get affected more now in the third wave. So let us see how the things will be. Don't expose them to this kind of a sensational media. Have a dedicated time for social media and watching TV. Avoid double standards. Parents watch more, you ask children not to watch. This needs to be looked at. Digital detox, I'll talk about it in detail few slides later. Enroll them in the online classes, especially children who are students and going to this. And we need to look what the child is doing. I urge that parents or some caretaker need to be there while the online classes are happening at their home. We never know what the child is doing because one-to-one interaction is missing. They may not be listening actively. They may be doing multitasking on the tab or WhatsApp. So we need to observe them in a better way. Family debriefing time should be made mandatory in the family. Like every day, have a family debriefing time to discuss about the day and express the emotions. Be open to the child's opinion. Listen to the children. Be supportive. Be honest. Even if you don't know, tell I don't know. I will get back to you later. Inquire about the child's concerns and emotion. This needs time. You need to give time. Stop violence, especially parents. They need to be reflecting very carefully because the child's model from the parent. If the child are abusive and assault, if the parents are abusive and assaultive, the children learn from them. So we need to be careful, including the teachers. They learn violence at the environment they are. Punishment can be done in a different way, but not by abusing or assaulting. Children reflect the parents' behavior. They look at the parents and the teacher as a role model. We need to be resilient. We need to fight back good out of this calamity, so our children will fight back. Let us understand what is the role of school teacher and counselor. They play a critical role in promoting psychological well-being among the youngsters. Try to educate the COVID-appropriate behavior in terms of how they need to maintain the social distancing, wear the mask, use the sanitizer, and try to understand what are the symptoms of COVID. They need to educate the children. Conducting creative online academic classes. Look, we all know that this online classes have been started hardly a year or so. Even our teachers, or considering myself, I'm also not well versed with teaching online or taking lectures online. We need to understand the problems which we are facing, and together, along with the students' input, parents' input, and the teachers, we need to create online academic classes where they are more interactive, they engage students in the form of quizzes, puzzles, small competition, and giving more creative home assignments to break the monotony of the online classes. Teachers do play a role in promoting mental health among students, like they can assist in teaching simple exercises like deep breathing exercises, muscle relaxing exercises, using distraction as a technique, positive self-talk. So these all promote good mental health. Try to encourage pro-social behavior and importance of empathy and patience among others. The empathy is putting ourselves in the shoes of others. Okay? Try not to sympathize with them. Try to use empathy, what we tell. And this need to be inculcated in the school by the teachers. Try to interact with the parents about the online things and get the feedback how the child is learning. Identify the problematic children and try to refer to them specialty of mental health providers. If you identify them and refer them, in future they will be able to do well in their academic and be a better human being. Ensure that the reading materials or whatever the lectures or classes are being taken are available offline also. They can see at ease. The last few slides, hardly 5 minutes to 10 minutes, I will conclude it. Let us understand digital detox. What do you mean by this? It refers to a period of time during which a person refrains from using electronic devices connected to internet like smartphones and computers. So you don't use it during their time. Nowadays, few celebrities and few people are using this as one of the way of trying to balance the real and virtual world. Okay, some few people do say that I'm off WhatsApp for a week because I'm on digital detox. I'm off Facebook for a week because I'm on digital detox. So this is commonly seen and popularly done now. I urge students to do that. Most popular prevention method to avoid addiction to tech devices is digital detox. Moreover, digital detox is an opportunity to reduce stress and focus more on interaction with others. It provides time to experience nature, get physical exercises, practice mindfulness. It helps in balancing IRL in real life activities than digital world. We do say our students and the people who come with the problem with internet or gadget use, it is the way to disconnect to reconnect. You need to disconnect your gadgets and reconnect in the real world with your friends, families, and others. Start small and build up gradually. If you have problem, then you need to start small. Start on the first day by not looking at your phone for 15-20 minutes or half an hour. Next day, unplug for 30 minutes. Put it on a flight mode. Nothing is going to happen. There is nothing which is going to change. Or take several 15 minutes break. Then later on, you do it for half a day or full day. Okay? Digital detox retreat. Whole family takes a trip for a new exciting places and off the mobile phone together. So try to designate unplugging time for everyone during the day, especially during the meals. All the family members need not use the mobile phone. Okay, that is one thing which we need to look at. Or during the bedtime, don't keep the mobile beside you. Nothing is going to change. Agar phone ring hota hai, so you can go and pick it up. Don't worry that some calamity can happen. Maintain certain areas of the whole house which are screen off zones, like dining area, no mobiles, no gadgets to use. Bedroom, don't take any gadgets. Study and library, don't use it. Toilets, this is one more thing which is being seen commonly. You go to the toilet with the gadgets like mobile and a tab. Sit in toilets for hours together. Don't do that. Plan technology-free family activities like going out for a museum, circus, art or dance classes, swimming, dance classes and everything. It is difficult in the COVID times, but you can plan it out. Explain to kids how screen time and digital media affects their health and the brain. We need to remember one thing. The adolescent brain is something which is very much immature and still developing. I usually say that neurons that fire together, wire together. What does this mean? If you are doing one activity repeatedly, that activity makes the neurons, they fire together and wire together. And your activity become much more habituated. Okay? Agar aap right-handed ho, your right hand is much stronger than left hand. Why? Because the neurons of brain nerves of the right hand are firing together. So it is making much more strong than the left hand. The same way, if you are doing unhealthy habits of using technology excessively, so your brain is more tuned to it. Don't do that. Okay? Otherwise, you all will be in mess. In summary, everyone needs to find their own way to create a digital detox. Parents need to help kids and teens do the same. As a result, the habit of regular unplugging will reap a multitude of benefits. This is the WHO data which you need to know. Age under 2 years should not be exposed to any screen time at all. Okay, no TV, no smartphone, no tablets. 2 to 4 years, less than an hour per day. Even if you are planning a preschool, an hour is the maximum time you should plan, not more than that. 5 years or above, 2 hours for recreational screen time. Parents, you need to look at the children's interval of 20-30 minutes per session need to be used in terms of using TV or mobile phone. Okay? With these few words, I would like to end my session related to mental health of COVID pandemic. I hope that it was beneficial to you all. If there are any questions, we would like to take the questions. Thank you. You can raise hand so that I can unmute you if you have any questions. There are few hands which have been raised. Yes, sir. last question. Have you typed the question? Yes. First duty. There are some technical issues. Have patience. Sir, you Dhruti. Is Dhruti? Dhruti? Are you online? Dhruti or Ravani? Do you have a question? I think Nidhi Shankar wants to ask some question.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Go
Good
ahead.
morning, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are very much audible and you are very clear. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, sir. So my question is how should teenager handle with negative peer pressure?
It's a very good and valid question. Look, there are a lot of things which are going on during this pandemic, and negative peer pressure is one thing which is commonly seen, especially there are many people around you, they talk about negative things like you're not good, or you do have problems in studies, you're not doing well in the studies, or criticizing kind of a thing. Or you do have difficulties
Yes,
in
sir.
terms of dealing with your parents who are very much behind your studies and results and teachers and everything. Need to understand that, Nidhi, that the stress is part of our life. Okay, we cannot run away from stress. And because of this COVID pandemic, the stress level is increased. I urge you to
Yes.
maintain a bit of relaxation time in terms of deep breathing exercises, taking abdominal or belly breathing, which we say. Slow, deep breaths, 4 to 5 breaths in a minute. Slow, deep in, hold, then deep. One thing. Then physical relaxation in terms of clinging of hand, that is progressive muscular relaxation. We do say that. Hold it for 2 minutes and then breathe. One. Top to bottom, you can do that. Any physical activity around an hour or two, which helps you to relax. Okay. Try to avoid the people who are criticizing you. One. Okay. And try to be politely that I don't like it. What we usually do in our behavioral therapy is we teach the students assertiveness training. Assertiveness itself means that how to say no. Okay, there are children who do have difficulties in telling no. ऐसा होता है, your behavior may say that you're okay with it, but actually you're not okay. You feel that it's not right, I don't want to do it. Try to be very clear on your words, politely, without harming the other's emotions. Clearly say that, look, this is what I like, this is what I do not like. And have an open discussion with the elders and the parents and the friends whom you are good with, telling that, you tell me how to go about this. You find a resolution for it, well and good, or else you need to meet a therapist or the parents or the counselor who will find a resolution to the problem. There are two ways to cope.
Okay.
One is emotional focused coping. The second way is problem focused. If the problem is resolved between you and her or the teenagers, peer pressure is there, then it is very good. If the problem is not resolved, then you need to focus in terms of emotional focus, which I told you, positive self-talk, relaxation and physical activity, and distracting from those people. Okay? Do not indulge in argument. Do not try to change them. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dhruti? Dhruti Ravani. Do you have a question, beta? Are you able to hear me? I feel there is an issue with your connectivity. We'll unmute Vedant Nandya.
Good morning.
Vedant?
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Try to keep your mic near your mouth so that it will be much more clear.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, you are now very clearly audible. Go ahead,
Sir,
Vedant.
yes, sir. Sir, you were saying about scheduling time and making of a timetable. I have tried that several times, sir, and it is common in students that it doesn't work out. So, is there any alternative, or how can we work upon that, sir?
It's another very important question. I appreciate that you are asking questions. I really appreciate the whole class so that you people are raising hand and asking. Most of the sessions, what happens, they be mum and we feel that you have understood. Yes, making a timetable is tricky one. Okay, and sticking to that timetable is another tricky thing. Okay, human brain or human mentality is such a thing. We try to break rules and try to make life ourselves easy. Okay, that's what is trained, or that's what we feel to be easy. Vedant, don't try to be perfect. Okay, आप अगर 70% to 80% भी timetable stick कर पा रहे हो, okay, if you make a timetable that I wake up at around 6 and read for an hour, and then from class to this time 4 o'clock the class होगा, 2 o'clock the class होगा, then 2 घंटा rest करूँगा, 2 घंटा पढ़ाई करूँगा, then again 2 घंटा rest करूँगा. So you can do that. But one thing you need to remember, you need to make a timetable where you need to give importance to recreational time also. There are two parts of the mind or brain. One is the right and the other is the left part of the brain, hemisphere, what we say. Right hemisphere is the creative hemisphere. The left is the learning hemisphere. Okay? If you put load on the education itself, the other hemisphere doesn't work. You need to put the equal work to that hemisphere also. You get mental fatigue. Play time रखो, sleep time रखो, family time रखो, study time भी रखो, along with the class. Try to involve everything together. Obviously, during exams and examination schedule, your left hemisphere has to be much more active. But overall, try to stick to the routine. 8 hours sleep time is mandatory. 7 to 8 hours you need to sleep. Classes are mandatory. Remaining जो भी 6-7 hours बचते हैं आपके life में, try to schedule in it. If you are able to stick for 70% of that schedule also, you should be satisfied at the end of the day. Don't cripple. I'm not perfect. I've not done it. Don't feel sad about it. Anytime there is the next time. Okay? I hope your query is resolved. Okay. Next question. Srushti. You have a question, Srushti? Srushti.
Good morning, sir. Is my voice audible?
Yes, very much audible. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Actually, I had a question related, like when a child is depressed, what role can his or her friends or family members play?
Srushti, will you get the microphone near your mouth and repeat the
Yes,
question?
sir. Is
Yeah.
it audible now? Yes,
Is it-
sir. When a child or a friend of ours is depressed, what can we do, or what role can we play as a family member or a friend?
Okay. Srushti, in the slides, I had put some of the warning features of depression. Look, today's topic was very vast. I cannot cover all the signs and symptoms of depression and how to deal with it. But being valid to your question, there are some things which are called as warning signs of depression. Feeling sad is not depression. Okay? If I scold you, or teachers scold you, or parents scold you, you feel sad. That is feeling sad, which is depression? No. At the same time, in the evening, someone praises you. चल बेटा बाहर जाके खाना खाते हैं, पानी पूरी पीते हैं, कुछ तो करते हैं, खेलने जाते हैं. You feel good. So that is reactive reaction to something which you don't like. If that feeling sad is constantly present throughout the day, most of the time of the day for more than 2 days, then clinical depression is diagnosed, where the person feels withdrawn, started not interacting with others, talks more of the things which are negative, like kuch nahi hoga abhi, life is gonna end, there is no one who can help me out of this crisis, it's better if we die. Or these are the things which the children do say. Sometimes suicidal things they do talk. At this time, I urge you to talk with a family member of that child or the caretakers and ask them to meet the mental health care professionals like a psychiatrist or a counselor. Because at that time, you need to clinically diagnose them and start with some of the medications which will help them to come back to normalcy, along with psychotherapies, okay? Where we try to understand what are the triggers to think in that way. And we try to adjust the behavioral modifications. Do good, feel good. You feel bad for the same reason, you don't do anything. And the feeling bad kind of feeling, try to revolve around and much more become stronger. What we say is, you change the behavior, go out, play, what you like doing it, you do it, like watching TV, going to a friend's home, or trying to play some games with parents and family. That may not be giving happiness initially to that person. Over a period of time, their thoughts are also going to change. So this is a part of cognitive behavioral therapy, we address them. Okay, so this is what we need to do it. I hope my answer is quite clear to you. First thing, watch out the signs which I told you for depression. Second thing, you need to refer to mental health professional. Third thing, you need to tell that you need to try to do certain things which you feel doing good and try to find enjoyment out of it. Okay? Thank you. I hope there are a lot of questions which are coming up. Due to the time constraint, we may not take all the questions as it's almost 11:30. We will end the sessions. If there are some questions, we will take up later on. You can post the questions and ask the teachers. They can report it to me. I can give it in writing to you. Okay? Thank you. Over to the host.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and guiding our students in maintaining good health by balancing physical and mental health. Thank you, students, for posing your questions and queries to the chief guest. Now, I request our director, sir, to felicitate today's chief guest as a token of gratitude. Thank you, sir. The reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more. The fifth batch of Class 10 Cambridgians have brought laurels to the school by achieving academic excellence in CBSE Board Exam 2020-21. In token of appreciation, I hand over the mic to our director, sir, to appreciate the students' efforts.
Very good morning to you all. I personally would like to welcome our fellow Rotarian friends also to the endowment lecture. On the onset, I would like to first welcome and thank our trustees, Mr. Vijay Kumar Chidgupkar sir, who is patiently online throughout the lecture, and our trustee, Dr. Nagnath Gachimani sir, who's also online. So thank you, trustees, for patiently listening to the lecture today. I know there's going to be vote of thanks later, but I would like to personally, on behalf of the school management, would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Alok Ganate sir, for sparing his valuable time. He's very busy these days, but thanks a lot for sparing your time and giving us a lecture. Honestly, I would not find a better topic in the present situation than the topic you have chosen today. Thank you very much, sir. Like always, like every year, this is my the time where I announce the results for the 10th board exams. I know it's been an unusual year, difficult year for all the teachers and the students, but I can positively tell you that you will be the first ever batch in the history to give an online exam without giving an exam who have got your results. So take positive note in that. And in the history of the results, this time we have got 3 toppers. Like the first place has been backed by 3 students. I would like to read out the names. He missed out on the head boy by a few votes, but he is the school topper, Vibhuti, with 94.8 percentage. I know you all can't clap your hands, I can't hear you, but at least raise your hands and give a clap, give a at least virtual clap for the toppers, please. 94.8% again, Shriya C. And third means basically 3 toppers, Ruchi Toshniwal again with 94.8 percentage. So we have 3 toppers of Cambridge School this time. And each of these students will be getting a cash prize of 30,000 rupees. The second topper, who is a head boy, Runmay Hosali, with 94.6, with only 0.2 percentage is missed out. He is on second place. He will be getting a cash prize of 20,000 rupees. Third place with 94.4, again with only 0.2 difference, is Sanjana Malashetty. She will be getting a cash prize of 15,000 rupees. Now coming back to the subject toppers, like there were subject toppers in the top 5 what school toppers we had, but like our rule is we don't repeat the prizes. So the second topper or the third topper of the subject will be getting the cash prize. In English with 98 marks, Aisha Atia, she'll be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. In Hindi, Riya Karwa with 94 marks. She'll be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. In Kannada, Sakshi K with 97 marks. She will be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. In maths, Ankur Kumar with 96 marks. Again, he'll be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. In science, Spurti with 92 marks. She will be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. And again, like I said, history, something new is coming up. In social science, there are 4 toppers. 4 toppers in social science. Each student will be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. With 98 marks each, Aisha Marine, Ravi, Shriya S, and Sheikh Rahila. All 4 will be getting a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. I would like to personally, on behalf of the school management, would like to congratulate all the toppers and all the passed out students and wish them all the best in the future and in the upcoming career. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. I invite Vibhuti Gia to share his views.
Good morning, everyone. The 9 years of schooling in our Cambridge school was full of ups and downs. It was a wonderful time spent. We cannot forget this time. Cambridge School was our social hub. It was the main source of knowledge and development. Development not only academically, but also socially. I'll always be grateful to the school for providing us with the perfect cocoon, which for sure has made us into a wonderful butterfly. I would like to thank all my teachers who have supported us and guided us throughout our schooling. I would like to adhere a special thanks to Principal Ma'am, Vice Principal Ma'am, directors who enabled multiple opportunities for us, which acted as a catalyst for our overall development. I would also like to thank the non-teaching staff and the school in general. And lastly, I would like to congratulate all of my friends who have completed the first milestone in their journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Vibhuti. All the best for your future. I invite Shreya C to share her views. Shreya C.
Good morning, I'm Shreya, and I'm privileged to be a part of this gathering. Firstly, I want to dedicate all my achievements and my results to each and every one who is with me all along with 4 years of this journey. I don't know if my single thank you can just tell how grateful I am of my teachers, of my friends, of my parents, who are with me whenever I needed them. They were a stepping stone of my success. Without them, achieving this would have been an impossible feat. Lastly, I want to congratulate my fellow friends and also wish my juniors all the best for their future. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. All the best for your future. I invite Ruchi Toshniwal to share her views. Ruchi Toshniwal.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all my teachers as well as the non-teaching staff for not only guiding me academically, but also giving me opportunities for co-curricular activities. I am grateful for being the head girl as well as the deputy head girl for 2 consecutive years. Cambridge has given me 10 special years of mine from 1st standard to the 10th standard. Everything that I've achieved today is all because of Cambridge. I thank you. I thank my parents for being supportive and my friends for being motivating. Thank you. I'll always be a proud Cambridgian. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchi. We congratulate all the achievers. Now, I request Rotarian Dr. Baburao Shiredkar, Secretary, Rotary Club of Gulbarga North, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, Cambridge School trustees, principal, staff, and students of the school. First of all, I congratulate all the achievers, students. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks in this 11th Rotary Navile Irani Sir's endowment lecture, jointly organized by Cambridge School and Rotary Club of Gulbarga North. First of all, we fondly remember our mentor, a great humanitarian, civil contractor, educationist, philanthropist, down-to-earth man, a great helping hand, Rotarian Navile Irani Sir. My warm pranamas to such a great, kind soul. Sir, we try to keep up all your dreams and fulfill your dreams. Secondly, I would like to thank today's speaker, Dr. Alok Ghanate Sir, Head of the Psychiatry Department, MRMC, for delivering excellent informative lecture on mental health during COVID-19, and he has answered all the students' questions. I would like to thank Director Rotary Naushad Irani Sir for organizing this event. I thank trustees Maruti Male Sir, Vijay Kumar Chatgupkar Sir, and Nagnath Gachimani Sir for the constant support to the Cambridge School and gracing this function by attending this program. I thank Principal Neeta Purohit Madam, Sulochana Madam, and Vajnath Patil Sir for nicely arranging this lecture in this pandemic. I thank our President Ramkrishna Boralkar for part of this one, and I thank all students and my fellow Rotarians for attending this program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you is the best prayer that anyone could say. Thank you expresses extreme gratitude, humility, and understanding. Here we come to an end of our program. Thank you.